Georgia Real Estate Cram Course Flashcards, 81 questions with explained answers. Flashcard 1. Term, at a closing that takes place on December 10th, which is true. Definition, the buyer's interest is being prepaid for a period of 22 days. The seller's interest is being postpaid for a period of 10 days. Flashcard 2. Term, the promissory note gives lender the right to blank and is simply the borrower's blank. Definition, collect payments, promise to pay. Flashcard 3. Term, the acronym DEST means. Definition, demand, utility, scarcity and transferability. Flashcard 4. Term, Jones allows Smith to fish on his lake. What right is he exercising? Definition, the right of control. Flashcard 5. Term, blank may transfer rights but not terminate rights. Definition, an assignment. Flashcard 6. Term, if the closing takes place on January 22nd, the first monthly loan payment will be made on. Definition, March 1st, the payment will be due on the LST of the month following the month after the closing. Flashcard 7. Term, an evidence of licensure kept by the licensee. It identifies the licensee by name, the licensing designation, the license number, and the date the original license was made. This is called. Definition, a pocket card. Flashcard 8. Term, is a federal law which requires lenders to inform potential homebuyers about costs in arranging mortgage financing and closing procedures. Definition, RESPA. Flashcard 9. Term, an easement may be terminated by 6 RMEOPAPEON. Definition, release, merger, expiration of purpose, abandonment, prescription, and / or end of necessity. Flashcard 10. Term, Josephine has borrowed $83,500 on a conventional loan and will be making monthly payments to PMI. Her loan is at 8%. What is her monthly premium? Definition, $17.40 multiply $83,500 by 0.25 for an annual premium and then divide by 12. The interest rate was a red herring. Flashcard 11. Term, someone who places mortgage loans by using funds belonging to an investor is called. Definition, mortgage loan correspondent. Flashcard 12. Term, grants court custody of a specific property to prevent the owner from transferring ownership while a suit for monetary damages is being decided. Involuntary and specific. Definition, an attachment lien. Flashcard 13. Term, the quality, quantity, nature, and extent of ownership interest or rights that a person holds in real property. Definition, an estate in land. Flashcard 14. Term, blank refers to the time when the deed is delivered. Definition, closing. Flashcard 15. Term, blank increase short-term yield on a loan. Definition, discount points. Flashcard 16. Term, Pastor Bob conveyed property to Deacon Jones on the condition that alcoholic beverages never be sold on the property. Pastor Bob discovered that Deacon Jones began selling alcoholic beverages on the property and waited 2 years before attempting to regain title to the property. The probable result will be. Definition, since Pastor Bob did not act in a reasonable period of time to terminate the estate and sue for possession, the estate may not be terminated and would continue indefinitely. Flashcard 17. Term, blank informs the offeror that the offeree has accepted the offer. Definition, actual communication. Flashcard 18. Term, a lien on property, imposed by a court to achieve a fair result. For example, if someone has embezzled money from a business, the business might sue and ask the court for an equitable lien on the embezzler's property, created with the owner's consent. Definition, equitable lien. Flashcard 19. Term, the broker should institute reasonable office procedures for handling. Definition, deposits. Flashcard 20. Term, if Aubrey is taking out a new loan at 8% interest, divide by 360, in the amount of $96,000 the interest cost per day for this loan is. Definition, $21.33 96,000 x 0.8 equals 76,807,680/360 equals 21.33. Flashcard 21. Term, blank is chosen by and serves at the pleasure of the board of directors. Definition, the president of a cooperative. Flashcard 22. Term, the advantage of a wraparound mortgage is. Definition, the buyer will usually pay a rate slightly lower than might be charged by conventional lenders. It is not a first lien, but a second. Flashcard 23. Term, additions to a contract are called. Definition, exhibits or addendums. Flashcard 24. Term, a person appointed by the court to administer the estate of a deceased person who died intestate is called. Definition, an administrator. Flashcard 25. Term, does not usually inhibit conveyance, usually diminishes value. Definition, encumbrance. Flashcard 26. Term, if condition is violated, the title automatically reverts to grantor, grantor's heirs, or remaindermen. Definition: fee simple determinable estate. Flashcard 27. Term: intangible benefits derived from property ownership may include a pleasant view and conditions that are pleasant and agreeable for living. This is a description of. Definition: both amenities and utility value. Flashcard 28. Term: an owner who renders service to only one association. Definition: there is an exemption to the license requirements for. Flashcard 29. Term: the rate of return is the. Definition: capitalization rate. Flashcard 30. Term: the borrower's written acknowledgement of the loan balance is called. Definition: an estoppel certificate. Flashcard 31. Term: assures an owner the use of property without interference from others. It includes rights over adjoining and surrounding land, such as the right to light, air, water, lateral support, and to be free of nuisances caused by neighbors. Definition: right of enjoyment. Flashcard 32. Term: blank is an unintentional misstatement of fact, concerning information the agent should have known or discovered. Definition: constructive fraud. Flashcard 33. Term: the money can be held by someone other than a broker, if. Definition: the contracting parties agree in writing. Flashcard 34. Term: involuntary, it may be general or specific. Definition: statutory lien. Flashcard 35. Term: capitalization is another name for. Definition: the income approach. Flashcard 36. Term: operating statements describe income and expenses for a subject property including mortgage payments. Such mortgage payments are also called. Definition: debt service. Flashcard 37. Term: the earnest money should be turned over by the salesperson to the broker. Definition: as soon after it is received as possible, not held by the salesperson for any reason. Flashcard 38. Term: interest for the day of the closing on new and existing loans is paid at closing by. Definition: both the seller pays interest on the existing loan for the day of closing and the buyer pays interest on the new loan for the day of closing. Flashcard 39. Term: the package mortgage takes both blank property as collateral. Definition: real and personal, farm machinery being personal property. Flashcard 40. Term: what right reserves the owner the right of ingress and egress? Definition: the right of possession, as well as the right to occupy the property. Flashcard 41. Term: the pledged account mortgage supplements are. Definition: payments from the savings account pledged to the lender. Flashcard 42. Term: a contract exists when. Definition: the buyer receives the acceptance. Flashcard 43. Term: the blank clause allows the lender to proceed with a sale of the property in the event of a default. Definition: power of sale. Flashcard 44. Term: steps to obtain judgment lien, lease PAJYE. Definition: lease pendens, attachment, judgment, writ of execution. Flashcard 45. Term: the blank is another name for a client. Definition: principal. Flashcard 46. Term: which does not refer to an estate in land. Definition: the right to use land of another. Flashcard 47. Term: a non-possessory right to use the land of another in a specified manner and for a specific purpose. Definition: easement. Flashcard 48. Term: typically funded through the issuance of bonds. Definition: courthouses and other municipal buildings. Flashcard 49. Term: George is borrowing $92,000 at 8% for 15 years. The factor is 9.56. The payment is approximately. Definition: 88,092 x factor of 9.56 equals 879.52 round up. Flashcard 50. Term: in order to use the table of amortization factors, one needs to know all of the following except. Definition: discount points interest rate, needed, length of the loan, needed, amount being borrowed, needed. Flashcard 51. Term: right of future possession belongs to the grantor of the lessor estate or grantor's heirs if they're dead. Definition: reversionary estate. Flashcard 52. Term: RESPA is administered by. Definition: HUD. Flashcard 53. Term: replacement cost approach. Definition: the current cost of replacing a property with a similar one with modern technology, methods, and materials. Flashcard 54. Term: Jim created in his will an ordinary life estate for the life of his daughter Ellen. This would be known as a. Definition: freehold estate. Flashcard 55. Term: blank is exercised by the act of condemnation. Definition: eminent domain. Flashcard 56. Term: usually discovered by land surveys or physical inspections. Definition: encroachments. Flashcard 57. Term: blank is the participation of more than one broker in a real estate transaction. Definition: co-brokering. Flashcard 58. Term: A conventional life estate is typically created by WDT. Definition: will, deed or trust. Flashcard 59. Term: the cash contribution for a house being purchased with a FHA loan, for which the sale price is $72,000, can be a minimum of. Definition: $2,160 minimum cash contribution is 3% of the sale price. Flashcard 60. Term: may be used to figure accrued depreciation. Definition: age, life, straight line, observed condition, or cost to cure method. Flashcard 61. Term: blank is the planning stage for the appraisal. It comes after determining the purpose and before the gathering of data. Definition: the preliminary study. Flashcard 62. Term: include dower, curtsy and homestead protection. Definition: legal life estates. Flashcard 63. Term: the second mortgage loan made by a lending institution carries the blank. Definition: right of rescission. Flashcard 64. Term: the blank clause is used in title theory states and conveys a title, not used in lien theory states. Definition: granting clause. Flashcard 65. Term: created when a seller defaults under a purchase and sale agreement. The purchaser has it for the amount of the deposit plus title-related expenses. It has priority over subsequent recorded liens, if recorded. Definition: Bendee's lien. Flashcard 66. Term: gives the grantor or grantor's heirs the right to regain possession of the estate in the future. Definition: reversionary, non-possessory, estate. Flashcard 67. Term: George is refinancing his house in a title theory state. At the loan closing, George will have to sign blank documents for recording they are. Definition: 2. Promissory note and also, a security or trust deed. Flashcard 68. Term: the insurance must cover. Definition: 3 months' worth of assessments plus required reserve funds. Flashcard 69. Term: a non-possessory estate. It gives to its owner the future right of possession. Definition: legal life estate. Flashcard 70. Term: a voluntary specific lien against the pledged property. Definition: a mortgage lien. Flashcard 71. Term: are both non-possessory and legal life estates. Definition: dower and curtsy. Flashcard 72. Term: a security agreement gives a lender interest in personal property pledged as collateral for a loan. This provision is an essential part of. Definition: a chattel mortgage. Flashcard 73. Term: when an investigation is held and it is determined that there might have been a serious violation of license law, the matter is referred to the blank for a hearing. Definition: Attorney General. Flashcard 74. Term: boundary to be operated within violation prompts loss of rights indicated by words, if, when, unless, and, provided. Definition: condition. Flashcard 75. Term: the blank and blank borrower can pay part of the premium at closing and spread the balance over monthly payments. Definition: conventional, FHA. Flashcard 76. Term: grantor, grantor's heirs, or remainderman must sue the estate holder, within a reasonable amount of time, to regain possession. Definition: fee simple on condition subsequent estate. Flashcard 77. Term: levied to generate revenues to fund public services, such as hospitals, parks, and police and fire protection. Definition: real estate taxes. Flashcard 78. Term: involves only one tract of land, the servient estate. Definition: easement and gross. Flashcard 79. Term: return of investment is the blank or blank. Definition: recapture, accrual for depreciation. Flashcard 80. Term: reproduction cost approach. Definition: the current cost of constructing an exact replica of the subject property using the same, or similar, materials. Flashcard 81. Term: a leasehold estate is what kind of estate for the landlord? Definition: at will.